This is Ziggy Berkeley, and you are listening to yet another awesome podcast on the Four-Eyed Radio Network. And hey, when you're done here, if you like James Bond 007, why not check out my podcast, Her Majesty's Secret Podcast, with new episodes dropping every other Monday on The Fern. And if you're really into James Bond, you can enter the Dial-A-Henchman contest. Want to know more? Go to hermajestyspod.com/contest, and you could win something from the James Bond 007 universe. Meanwhile, enjoy the show.
Hey there, Eric here from Socially Awkward Studios, and this Four-Eyed Radio presentation is being proudly brought to you by Raven Designs, illustration and design that fit your personality. For samples and inquiries, visit ravencruise.com.
Greetings and welcome to the Idiot Section's annual tribute to St. Patrick's Day and all things Irish, both real and stereotypical. We are recording today's show just 2 days from March 17th, and we can hardly contain our excitement for the eating of corned beef, the drinking of green beer, the search for leprechauns, and the inhalation of Irish coffee filled with Irish whiskey. I am your host, Senor Esteban, and today with my co-hosts Kyle and Steve-O, we will explore what it means to be Irish. We will make fun of Irish music, and we will behave like the idiots we are. Ah, life is good. First, I must congratulate the Idiot Section for doing the show for over a year now. Much has happened in the last year, and while change is the only constant in life, idiocy will always remain, and for that reason, we exist and bring the show to you bi-weekly. As mentioned, March 17th is St. Patrick's Day. It was originally created in the Roman Catholic faith as a feast day and celebrates the day of his death in the year 461. Why they celebrate the day of his death is beyond me, but hey, who am I to argue? First of all, St. Patrick wasn't even Irish. He was born in Britain in the 6th century, which was part of the Roman Empire at the time, and he was captured by Irish raiders who kidnapped him and brought him to Ireland, where he stayed in captivity for 6 to 10 years, depending on who you talk to. While in captivity, St. Patrick converted to Christianity because, let's face it, what else is there to do in prison? He eventually escaped back to Britain, but returned as a Christian missionary to Ireland to convert the pagan Irish. While most people think this was an unselfish act on the part of St. Patrick, as any Roman Catholic will tell you, being Roman Catholic fills you with a feeling of guilt, one that never goes away, nor does it diminish over time. Revenge was yours, St. Patrick. Well done. One of the legends of St. Patrick's miracles is that he drove all of the snakes out of Ireland. The story is actually a metaphor for St. Patrick ridding Ireland of paganism. The only problem is that Ireland is too cold, so they never had snakes anyway. Great PR job, St. P. According to another story, Paddy used the 3-leaf shamrock as a way to explain the Holy Trinity, and in the 18th century, people in Ireland started wearing shamrocks on March 17th to signify their Irish Christian pride. That practice later grew into wearing green clothing, a popular custom that still continues today. The origin of St. Patrick was started in New York City in 1762 when a group of Irish soldiers serving with the British marched a few blocks to, where else, a tavern. Today it is the longest and largest St. Patrick's Day parade with over 200,000 participants, all still marching to that same tavern. Now, before we really get started, here is our bi-weekly disclaimer. The discussions, comments, ad-libs, and parodies on this show are the opinions, beliefs, and lame attempts at humor by the participants and do not speak for nor represent the views, opinions, or philosophies of the Four-Eyed Radio Network, the Socially Awkward Studios, or any of the sponsors, consumers, or passers-by associated with the network. Furthermore, any and all celebrity impressions you may hear on the show are for entertainment purposes only and do not signify an endorsement of the show by said celebrity, although one would think they would be only too proud to be associated with a high-class production such as this one. This show is for entertainment purposes only, and remember, please don't talk back to us during the show. We can't hear you anyway. Now, today's musical intro was called it still is called, The Irish Washerwoman. And I grabbed it off the internet, and it didn't tell me who did it. So if you know who it belongs to, please let us know so that we can give credit for that lovely little intro. This is our 19th show for the Four-Eyed Radio Network with the Fern, and is our second St. Patrick's Day celebration show, featuring my own lyrics to a famous Irish jig, incidentally called The Irish Washerwoman. And the first verse goes like this. We'll be drinking and fighting and puking and brawling.
And lying and boasting till our wives start calling.
And stagger back to the pub without falling.
And continue to celebrate St. Paddy's Day. We'll drink whiskey and beer and then eat corned beef too.
Hell, when we're drunk, there's nothing we won't do.
We'll piss in your hat and poop in your shoe.
And that's just to celebrate St. Paddy's Day. Some may say that it's sad the way we are thinking.
And we're only having fun when we are drinking.
Well, who gives a fook as I'm smiling and singing?
Because that's how we do it on
St. Paddy's Day.
If the stereotype fits, well, then I guess I ain't lying.
And drunkenness does cause a shit load of crying.
As long as the mates in the pub are buying.
We'll be drinking to his health on St. Paddy's Day. We will drink to O'Brien and then to O'Malley.
To your brother Sean and to my sister Sally.
And then we'll get up and go puke in the alley.
And that's what we'll do on St. Paddy's Day.
We will down more green beer than a human should drink.
And get so damn pissed that we'll pee in the sink.
Brains will turn into mush and we can't even think.
But we'll still have a great time on St. Paddy's Day. So, Kyle, what have you been up to since the last show?
Well, top of the morning to you all, and happy St. Patrick's Day if you're listening to it on that day. Well, right now, all I've been up to is two things. I have a dog who's crazy, and then our fairways, Rockledge Fairways, is where we're living at currently, and our lease is coming up. And I went to the office and I asked them, hey, back in February, like, we need to either give you 60 days or we need to find out what our rates are going to be and blah, blah. Nothing. So finally on March, well, I think, like, first, I went to them and said, like, look, like, obviously now we're past our 60 days. You haven't given us any information. Huge arguments. They kept fighting about, like, how much our rent was going to go up. Then they gave us a sheet of paper with the wrong apartment number on it. Like, they just don't know what they're doing. So finally, I came back in after having dealt with one of the office ladies who was completely rude and out of line. I went to her manager. I waited till her manager was in. And she said, I'd just like to renew my contract. So they printed it off. And our rent was going to go up to almost about $1,200 a month.
What?
And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, you've given us no notice. You've given us no time to plan if we don't want to stay now. And I said, and according to this fine sheet of paper you gave us with somebody else's information, you know, the other apartment, it's showing much lower rate than what we're currently paying. And so she looked at it. She even pulled up the file. And sure enough, like, even in our paperwork, in our contract, I showed her, like, what we agreed to was this. And if you want to keep us the same, which I asked for back in February, we would have signed on the line and we would have said no problem because we don't really feel like moving right now.
Right.
We like the area we're in. We don't want to move. And with that, the manager says, yeah, we could do that. And I said, so you mean to tell me that for over 2 months now I've had to piss and moan to you guys to get us at the same rate? You kept saying our rates were going to go up. You are the ones making the errors, and now you're trying to charge me more. But now you're just saying, oh, yeah, you could do that, no problem. And so with that, she was like, yeah, you're right. So I gave him a really nice review on Yelp saying, like, don't move in here. This place is horrible.
People are idiots.
Yeah, it's like, and it's the office app. Yeah. The maintenance crew, phenomenal. Like, some of the best maintenance there. Grounds are well kept. Anybody else in that office staff is, like, fairly competent and can actually listen to your requests and stuff. But, yeah, it's just like, it was just a bad experience. So I told Lindsay, and I just said, like, we're going to stay this year, but we're definitely going to be looking to get out because, like, I wanted to be out already.
Yeah.
Wasn't happy last year because we had the same issue. And then this year, it's just like, I mean, seriously, had we not said anything, we would have been hit with like $1,200 a month. And it's like, I can get a home for that.
That's ridiculous. Well, I'll talk about it later. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So We'll talk about it later.
Talk about it later.
But yeah, Buddy's also crazy too because I got these 2 giant bones for them the other day.
Yeah.
So I put him down and Daisy takes the bigger one and he takes the little one and I'm just like, fine, whatever. You guys just made your decision. That's it. But the problem is if you give them bones in the late at night, they keep eating them. Like even when you're going to bed, they will keep sitting there chewing on them. So usually around like 10:30 or so, I pick them up and I put them away. I'm like, okay, guys, you'll have them in the morning. You continue your journey of consuming these bones in the morning.
Yeah.
So first thing this morning we get up and we usually go out for a walk, but he's just sitting there and he knows where I put them. So he does that whole he just sits so he looks at you and then kind of shifts his eyes up to you like, hey, come on,
hey, I know where it is. I know where you put it. It's up there. Come on.
And he did it a few times. He'd spin around, sit back down, and then kind of be like, hey, psst, hey, give me my bone. So we went out and stuff, and then when we came back and they had breakfast, then I gave them their thing. But that was hilarious how he was kind of like, hey, buddy.
It's really funny. Dogs. Riley is a pain in the neck. She doesn't. She'll go out in the yard and she'll be messing around, and we'll call her and we'll call her and we'll call her, and she doesn't come. And it's like, okay, fine. But if I open a bag of chips in the house, man, she's right at the back door.
Yeah, hey.
She's like, hey, what are you eating? Hey, is this a bag of that? When it comes to food, they know
like,
exactly where they should be or what they should be doing. So
Hilarity.
Yeah. Steve-O, what have you been up to?
Nothing.
Okay.
I've been drinking and driving and punching and
brawling
pissing and eating and doing other stuff. No, I've had a pretty busy week again. Did a bunch of editing of shows. We did our live show last week for Arcade Bros. We had a bunch of people come in last night for Socially Awkward for this huge scandal that happened at Comic-Con where a guy from Ghost Hunters stole somebody's artwork, was putting it on a shirt, and was selling it. So basically this guy was making money off of this artist's artwork while the artist was not.
Who does he think he is? Shia LaBeouf?
Oh!
Yeah,
really. Oh, you know what? That's what we should have not invited him to Comic-Con. We should have just made him wear a paper bag over his head that says, I'm not famous anymore.
Yeah.
I was never famous to begin with.
Yeah, really. Well, then we were joking around because we were trying to figure out why he, why was he going to be at Phoenix Comic-Con? We're just all like, and then he also left the Ghost Hunters too. So we're like, what? Did you steal a ghost or something from one of your international shows? I was also on Appropriate Inappropriate, which will be premiering on Sunday, I believe, March 16th. Talked with Kevin and Nancy. We had a little fun there. Talked about doing stand-up. I'll be doing stand-up at Stand Up Scottsdale on March 30th. Tickets are $10 to get in. You don't have to worry about buying drinks if you don't want to. That's what I like about this venue. So go ahead, check out all the great comics. I know I'll be there, Kevin Elliott will be there, and a bunch of other local talent, and also whoever hits the main stage. I forget his name at the moment right now, but
main stage hitter.
Main stage. Did you say hitter or Hitler?
Well, hitter is what I said, but
you know what I hate?
Your hands in the air.
Don't do it now. You know what I really love is ovens.
Jules.
What? Pizza ovens! Get
oven.
it? Why are you all yelling at
Why are
me?
you leaving?
And that's why Hitler never became a comedian.
And instead ruled as the...
Actually, that's the real backstory. Everyone thought it was because he was a horrible artist. It turns out he was a horrible stand-up comic, and he kept doing stuff, and all the Jews are going, well, this isn't funny. We know funny. We're Jews. Jews are always funny. So, they never hired me. I really want to write for Mickey Mouse. So we got that going on, and then the premiere of Jedi, Sith, and Ewok dropped this week as well.
Sweet.
That's going to be in every other week podcast, and then still trying to find co-host for the Podzilla, well, not Podzilla, the code name, Omega and Brony.
And I thought of something too, because the other day I didn't realize there's a thing on Facebook called groups. Like if you type in groups, whatever, a whole bunch of list of people who've created almost like communities within Facebook who are interested in things. Well, they actually have a lot of people who are into like Godzilla, and there's a whole bunch of AZ Godzilla groups.
Go,
so you might want to hit
Godzilla.
out there and maybe see if there's anybody out there.
Yeah, that's actually the theme song I'm going to use. I had no idea there was a Blue Oyster Cult song about Godzilla, so I was like, oh, I'm so going to do this. So.
But you could try it there too and see if like, hey, you guys want to come on, talk about your group, and then see if there's anybody who
Well, it's funny, I was talking with Nancy, and Nancy's only seen the My Little Pony show just because she has little girls. And I'm like, well, that makes sense. So I go, well, then obviously, obviously you know more about it than I do. So, but it was really funny because we did have the guest who came in. He actually did this piece called My Little Army of Darkness, and he drew out the Army of Darkness like picture, but with the ponies or whatnot. And they're going to try to get Bruce Campbell to sign it at Comic-Con, and then they're going to auction it off. for the charity to go for like I think it's for the kids to help them like kids read the foundation. So I was like, oh, that'd be awesome. So it was great though because
Quit horsing around and read.
It started going out on Twitter and stuff like that, and Bruce Campbell responds to it and goes like, the only thing I have a problem with this is not enough chin on the pony because he has a really huge chin. And the guy was like, I tried to give a pony a chin, but it was really hard to do. So that was like his only gripe with it. So knowing Bruce Campbell, he's probably going to be one of those guys that will probably sign it.
Cool.
So we'll see how that goes. But I thought it was really great. And then even talking to him, we're going to get more local comic book artists onto Longbox Cast. And also I talked about Kyle and I would like to do live shows at comic books stores. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, we do a bunch of stuff for Free Comic Book Day. So it looks like we're getting a lot of stuff out there. So, yeah, my week's been pretty – I've actually been doing a lot more with the network. It's weird.
Oh, my God.
That's good.
Also created like 3 more shows.
Yep.
I'm going to be doing. I'm thinking about doing a Ghostbusters show.
Me, myself.
No, actually, one show I joked around and Kevin's like, you should totally do it, is Steve's drives home from work because it's only like 10, 15-minute drive. So I just get my iPhone. So every day record something on my way home from work and then put it all together as a thing. But Kevin was like, I'd listen to that. Just like your weird ramblings in your car to yourself.
Speaking of weird, that's why I was late today because there's the way they classified it, a police activity at the 202 westbound and Pecos Road.
Okay, because that's another one. Because there was another thing that happened on Tuesday.
Yeah,
on the 60.
Yeah, that was about some guy who shot somebody else.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous.
Well, yeah, it was a cop who shot the guy. Guy who had stolen a vehicle crashed, as what I heard. Got out of his car with an M15 and was threatening to shoot them. And the cops were like, "Okay, well, we're done with this," and put him down. So.
No, I got I got dinner on the table.
Yeah, exactly. You know what?
And the paperwork's going to be hell anyway. So, well, what I've been up to since the last couple of weeks is been helping your sister with her fire damage, trying to restore software to her ailing PC. Then I got to hand it to you, Microsoft. You have to be one of the most frustrating companies to try to deal with in loading software unless you want to go to the newest operating system.
Well, I'm Bill Gates, and I disagree.
Well, what happened is your sister has a Windows Vista computer. So I went ahead back to the startup disks for Vista, started, loading those, and then the updates. And then, of course, you load the updates, and not all of them can be loaded. And then you do some research, and you find out you got to run Mr. Fix-It because he's got to go in and fix the registry settings that they've already screwed up. Right. Because what I did is I flattened the PC, got backed up everything I wanted, nothing on it. The only thing I'm loading to it is Windows Vista, and you already screw up the registry settings, so now you have a fix-it program to fix the registry settings that you fucked up. Okay, so thank you very much for that. So then it says, well, some of these things can't be loaded because other things have to be loaded first. Okay, then why don't you have some sort of a system where you say, okay, when you check my computer for updates and you can see what level I'm at, why don't you just give me those first 50 that I need instead of the 170 that you give me that takes 2 hours to download all 170, but you can only install the 50. So, of course, those 50 get installed. Then you have to run the whole thing again. Now the 50, whatever else is there, they get loaded. There's still problems. And then you try to load Service Pack 1 for Windows Vista, and you can't do it through their site. It says it's installed like 6 times on your computer. You look at your history of updates. Oh, yeah, it's installed. It was installed yesterday twice. It was installed today 3 times. It was installed.
Because it's all part of those updates.
Right. So then you go ahead and say, all right. Then what you need to do is you need to actually go out to the Windows Vista site itself, save the executable, and then run it as an administrator, and then it will actually load SP1. So the great thing about that is, too, is in between all of this, because when you first load Windows Vista, it gives you like Internet Explorer 3 or something like that, and you need 8 in order to load like Microsoft Security Essentials or any of this other stuff. So by the time you find the right update you need to get there, then you can finally load IE8. Then you can finally load SP1. And the long and short of it is, I just said the hell with it, and I went Windows 7 SP1, and now everything's hunky-dory. So Microsoft was able to get me for $75 for that.
And everything is hunky.
As far as what you were talking about yesterday, just earlier before about your rent and what have you.
Yeah.
Well, we found a house that we kind of liked. It's in the Ahwatukee Center Court area. So we checked it out yesterday with the realtor. And while we're waiting for the realtor to show up, there's a house right across the street from it that's got a for rent sign on it. So, your mom checked it out. She had her phone, so she was checking it out, went
Cool.
to the thing, found out that it's a 3-bedroom home right on the golf course,
Oh.
and it was a fairly decent-sized backyard, and they wanted like $1,500 a month for it, which I thought was kind of steep for a 3-bedroom, but, I thought, well, maybe they
A lot
want
of times,
to sell
yeah,
it.
it depends on the area, whatever.
Now,
Yeah.
but the problem is if you key in the address in Google Map and you kind of expand upon it, you'll see that where that house is and where the house we're looking at, right across the street from it, that house is right next to one of the ponds from the Ahwatukee Lakes. And now, which you think, oh, that's kind of cool, except the wind was kind of blowing in our direction the other day, and there's a nice little aroma that you get from the pond
water, yeah.
that is not really, and then you start thinking, well, gee, the ponds are kind of a stagnant type thing, and that's where mosquitoes love to breed and stuff, and it's like, you know what? Thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah. Unless, it would justify if, the rent was really cheap, then you could say, okay, well, it's near a pond, blah, blah, blah. But for it to be so pricey,
right,
and then have to have that next, it's like, oh, you live next to a volcano, and it's like $4,000. It's like, but, you're next to a volcano.
Oh, yeah, look at that. When it erupts, you get to see the lava and everything.
You'll be first
You'll be the first one. You'll be the first one to know. Just thinking your tweet, oh, there's a volcano coming. It's like, ah!
Yeah, tweet,
Yeah.
Hashtag yell.
Yeah. That's like when the swarm of mosquitoes comes to you. Oh, I'm covered with hantavirus mosquitoes now, and I think I'm going to die. Tweet.
Yeah.
Hashtag tweet.
Retweeted 100 times.
Yeah. Oh, but anyway, that was my. That's our fun thing for the last 2 weeks. For our shout-outs, I did get an email from my brother, my buddy.
Wow. I was like,
my
Ghost Hunters.
Grave.
Yeah, Ghost Hunters.
From
That's how
the
they're
grave. No, as a full-fledged idiot with little to do in my life but sleep, eat, go to work, watch TV, and think of stupid things, I came across a bag of fortune cookies that we got the last time we had Chinese food, and it got me thinking. Now, everyone has a bad day at work once in a while, and because of that, a mistake happens or work isn't done on time, and I wondered how this might apply to a fortune cookie writer. Well, here is what I came up with, and please excuse my poor Asian accent. So you open a cookie, and this one says, an important meeting this week. You will have uncontrollable diarrhea, and all people will laugh and make fun of you. Oh, your lucky number is 2.
Oh, I get you now.
And the next cookie is, tomorrow your girlfriend will leave you for a monkey because he understands her and you are a loser. Your lucky number is 0 because you are a loser. The third one I thought would be kind of interesting is, people will look up to you this week right before you jump off a building because nobody loves you. You have no lucky number.
Oh, you know what it should have said at that? It goes, your luck has run out.
Oh, yeah, luck has run out.
Another one was, you should not eat this fortune cookie because I let my cat lick it long time. Oh, and he lick off your lucky number also.
Your lucky number was 9.
Was cat meow.
No. You will be found sleeping at your desk this week and be fired. Not because you were sleeping, but because no one likes you. Your lucky number is 13.
Oh, that's good. Did you ever hear that story where someone found a cookie and it literally was like, help, I'm trapped in this address.
Yeah.
Like, please send the police immediately. So when they went, it actually was like the old Chinese, it actually was a factory where they make the cookies and stuff, but it was somebody just being
Yeah.
But it was pretty nuts. Like, imagine getting that and seeing a cry for help. Like,
Well, there used to be a show on back in the 70s called, I forget what it was called, but it was a Spielberg show, and it was kind of like a Twilight Zone type.
Oh, The Outer Limits?
No, not The Outer Limits.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
So anyway, so basically, what I remember this one show they had exactly. It was Elliot Gould, who played Hawkeye in MASH in the movie. He was a restaurant critic, and he would never write anything good about any restaurant, regardless of how good the food really was. Because that was basically his thing. So he goes to this Chinese restaurant, and so he orders food, and everything was delicious. Everything was absolutely amazing story. So he's in there, and he's going, "Oh, this is great. This is, And he goes, "But I can't write a great review." So he gets a fortune cookie, and it says, "Oh, fate will save you tonight." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So he leaves, and he writes his rather scathing article about how the food is subpar and not really that good and this and that. And just as he's walking home, he ends like a cat runs in front of him, and he goes, "Oh!" And he stops and he kind of looks at it, and like 2 seconds later, a safe falls down like right in front of him. He would have been crushed, and he was like, so. As he keeps going back to the restaurant and writing more reviews, each one worse than the last one, the fortunes get worse and worse and worse,
Right.
and all these things. And he says, finally by the last scene, he just goes in, just give me the fortune cookie. I don't care about the meal, just give me the fortune cookie. And the last one is, oh, tonight's your last night, and he's like,
Yeah,
and
'cause it's
that's
like,
how it
dun, dun,
ends. So
dun.
it's like, yeah, so that was kind of a cool, but as far as fortune
We'll
cookie
see you
goes.
in an hour. Because
really.
you'll be hungry again.
Oh, you have diarrhea. People call you number 2. Hey, since our last show, and my shout out to my college buddy Brian, he has been in touch via email to say how much he appreciated the shout out and how he used the shout out to prove to his wife that I really do exist and that the show he listens to is real.
The man I talk in my car does exist.
Yeah. If you would like a shout out of your own, let us know on Twitter at the Idiot Section or on Facebook.
Yeah,
It's
so
at a
it's-
presidential school meeting.
Well, yeah, I guess what ended up happening was like we had it out here where I guess President Barack Obama showed up at Desert Vista, and they had some. You could like if you were part of the I guess the academics, you could go and like in this school they had the same thing, but they had a meeting where depending on like there was a shorter. I guess stadium, so only certain teachers were going to go and things like that. And this guy like went into the news and was like trying to basically say how the school wasn't allowing him in, and he felt very disrespected that he's been part of the faculty for all these years, and no one even included him into the thing. And but the story also mentions how he had a Twitter feed, and on his Twitter feed he has consistently blasted Barack Obama on everything he's ever done, going as so far as to call him a pussy on Twitter.
Nice.
So, and like not just to like, oh, he says it every once in a while, like almost all 117 of his tweets are about how Obama is a pussy.
I just see tweeting.
And-
I'm sitting here in traffic. Oh,
Obama
it's terrible. Obama's a pussy.
Yeah, literally, hashtag Obama's pussy.
I'm going to the store for milk. Oh, Obama's a pussy.
So I'll post the article on the Facebook because it's funny when you read some of the tweets. And what happened was the vice principal and the principal had both said, do not like blast like the president, or else you're not going to be invited.
Right, yeah.
So of course he did not listen to them.
Yeah.
Blatt was continuing to blast the president, so they didn't invite him to the thing. But it was like a big whole like,
I would appreciate
like
That's like, was a
If
guy.
you would just stop.
The guy's kind
hashtagging.
of like the drunk uncle you don't want to invite over for Thanksgiving.
'cause you know he's gonna-
Well, we're meeting our in-laws for the first time, and we want to make a good impression. So, drunk uncle, we're not going to invite you this year. Oh, I'm going to blast you, you pussy.
So here's some of his tweets. I pulled them up. It was like, his name is, if you want to follow him, it's at RS Scott MSGT. Randall Scott is his name. One of his examples is like, she had my Pop-Tarts taken out of the vending machine. She is evil, married to a communist. Like, Obama pussy. Like, a weed-smoking Kenyan is your president, and he is in charge of your health care. Seems normal. Hashtag Obama is a pussy. And then it's like, we are so screwed. Hashtag Obama is a pussy. Like all these ones that he has on here, you're just like there's no wonder you weren't invited. But again, it's
Yeah,
a school
really.
out in Florida, and lately Florida's just had like the cream of the crop
yeah,
of the
yeah.
idiots. So
Well, there are those stories where you hear these really messed up stories, and you're like, is it Florida or is it Germany? And
Yeah, you're
half
like-
the time,
Well,
it's
Pennsylvania
Florida.
gives them a run for their money too sometimes.
But yeah, that was my idiot story of the week. I was just like, oh my
That's pretty
goodness.
funny. You got any idiot stories, Steve-O?
Trying to think. Well, I want to say if there is an idiot story, it's going to be pretty much everybody who's at our live show, because we think we all witnessed a carjacking and no one did anything.
That is true. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Basically, the car alarm goes off, and I'm like, all right, we're going to take a short break until someone turns this
Yeah,
car
like
alarm
Steve's
off.
like,
So,
pauses.
so I pauses it.
Right. You pause
And then
the
all of a
show.
sudden, we see the guy gets in his car, so we're like, all right. But then the car alarm is still going off, and he just drives off. So you literally hear it in the parking lot,
Yeah,
still like,
and we're all like
so
looking at each other like,
I think a car was just
did that
stolen.
just get stolen? So that we were imagining like all night, like somebody's gonna come out with their like game and be like, finally, I can go home and wait. Where's my car?
I will say this. The other,
Titanfall,
Yeah,
great. I'm
the
going to
other-
be able to play it all
the other,
night.
the,
And I only drove in from Casa Grande.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
the other idiot part is, and someone already did a video of it, so they took my idea after I said it, but Kyle and I, we did the Titanfall release. Now, you could get the game, which is like $60, which is for games, or you could buy the game with the system, which was about $4.99 because you get the Xbox One with it. I'm like, okay. Then there was the collector's edition. Now, most collector's editions, the most I've ever seen is usually maybe $150, but you get a bunch of content with it, maybe art books, like all this kind of stuff. So it's like, all right, this one was $250. So you're thinking $60 for the game, but people were leaving the GameStop with a box this big. They were walking out like, like you could fit a human being in that box, because I guess the figure you get with it is a Titan and is supposed to be like freaking huge. And I was just sitting there going like, you know what? I'm so glad that I'm kind of done with like collector's edition with certain stuff, because I'm like, I know everybody would have hated me if I bought that and then they're like, hey, I'm moving.
Yeah, help me move my Titan.
Move my Titan. But I was just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that thing better, like, you better be able to jump inside of that thing and walk around or
well, you
something.
can, but it's just the box.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Titan.
But it was just like,
Yeah, when you open the box, it's got like 2 circles outlined that you cut out.
Yeah.
And you put your legs.
like, wee! Like, they had a video of a guy trying to get it into his car.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he was like, because no one was prepared for this thing. And then they even emptied it out and then put it in the, they had people who like could jump into the box. And then Kyle gave with the greatest idea. It was released this week, the new Metal Gear Solid 5 game. But Kyle's like, they should have done a collector's edition of that, because in the game, like, to hide around as like a spy game, you'd usually put a box over you and you sit there. He's like, they should have sold the box.
The collector edition
so the game,
Yeah.
like, there's a couple of things inside the box, but it's mainly just the box, and that's what you do. You would just hide in it or whatnot. It's like $250.
Play it like
box,
play it like you're really the character.
Yeah, but yeah, that was kind of like, so I would have to say we were all idiots that week with people who bought a $250 box and people who watched the people who stole a car, basically
With the
stole
alarm
a car.
going
So,
on, yeah.
So,
Unbelievable.
but that was pretty horrendous.
That was hilarious though, because we were thinking about that.
That was
like,
such,
did we just
I would
witness
have
a
to say
crime?
that was like the weirdest live show we ever had.
Yeah.
There was so many things that were going on.
Was
that
it a
night.
full moon that night or something?
I don't know. Well, this guy walks by in the beginning. There's a line out in front of the GameStop, and this guy, like, he's wearing glasses. He's an older gentleman. He has like the tape wrapped in his thing. He's wearing
old
like
nerd, yeah.
That
he's
was
wearing
the idiot. That was the
he was
idiot,
wearing
totally.
a Snoopy Christmas shirt, like tucked into his pants, and he walks by. He's like, "What's going on tonight?" We're like, "Oh, it's a release for a game," and he literally looks at the line, looks back at it, he's like, "Fucking nerds."
Yeah, bunch of fucking nerds. Meanwhile, he has tape on his glasses,
And he's
a
wearing
Snoopy Red Baron shirt, which was red.
Yeah, we were
And like we called him the Red Baron the
Baron.
rest of the night because like,
Oh,
And then he's like, "I'm gonna go get
sweatpants.
some drink. It's
Yeah.
ladies'
Yeah.
night."
Yeah,
or
he's
something
like-
like that. He's just
That's
walking
all he
away.
kept doing was like,
When's the ladies'
yeah,
night?
like-
I'm going there.
Yeah, it's just like,
freaking
okay,
nerds. He's like,
fucking
hey, girls. So
hey,
like,
girl,
uh,
hey, here's your Titanfall right here. Red Baron away.
Curse you, Red
Because it
Baron.
was hilarious because it was like it was a red like sweatshirt kind of shirt, Snoopy on top of the thing sleeping or whatever, but it was like kind of glittery.
Yeah, it was like a
Yeah,
Christmas
yeah.
shirt. So I'm like,
Oh,
you're
man.
way behind the season there, buddy.
Either that or he's way ahead.
Yeah, I'm ready for next
I'm gonna
year.
jump
man.
on Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, since we are celebrating St. Patrick's Day, I thought I would share some funny stories from the Emerald Island. First story is from one of the Dublin papers, and it looks like a carload of hunters who were on holiday and looking for a place to hunt pulled into a farmer's yard in County Waterford, Ireland. The driver, Sean, went up to the farmhouse to ask permission to hunt on the farmer's land. The old farmer said, "Sure, you can hunt. But would you do me a favor? That old donkey standing over there is 20 years old, and she is sick with cancer, but I don't have the heart to kill her. Would you do that for me?" And he goes, "Sure, of course I will." And he went back to the car. But while walking back to the car, Sean decided to play a little trick on his hunting friends. He got into the car, and when they asked if the farmer had said if it was all right, he said, "No, we can't hunt here." He says, "But I'm going to teach that old fellow a lesson he won't forget." With that, the Irishman rolls down his window, sticks his gun out, and shoots the donkey dead. Now, as he shouted, "To be sure, that will teach him," a second shot rang out from the back of the car, and one of his mates yelled, "And me, Bagora, I got the cow." So be careful.
Do you know what kind of cancer the donkey had?
What?
Ass
Ass cancer.
Yeah.
No, jackass cancer.
Holy Toledo!
Well, as you may
As
or
he
may...
shot the cow, it's like,
Yeah.
where's the beef?
Oh, it's corned beef
you
tonight.
know what the cow
sucked.
though was? He was
What?
mad.
Mad cow.
No, he just had a disease.
Yeah, I don't feel good.
You know what he needed?
What?
More cowbell.
Ow!
He also said it was utterly unacceptable.
I have a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Well, as you may or may not know, racing is a national pastime in Ireland.
I did not know.
And there is a story of an
to the
American.
bars.
Yeah. Now,
Now,
one American who was visiting a racetrack noticed that one of the Reverend Fathers rushed past him to get a bet on the racetrack. And his friend Trevor spotted one Reverend Father making a big fuss of the horse in a parade ring. Amazingly, that horse went on to win the next race easily. So what they did, the American and Trevor took interest when they saw the same Reverend Father bless another horse in the next race, and as luck would have it, that horse won too. Well, knowing a good thing when they saw one, the Americans followed the Reverend Father for the third race, and as soon as he patted a horse called Foxy Loxy, they raced over to get the best odds they could with the bookies. Well, Foxy Loxy was well up in the pace of the first circuit, but down the back straight for the second time, Foxy Loxy dropped to the rear, and then to the Americans' surprise, the horse dropped dead by the water jump. Well, and the Americans went back to the bar. They fell into conversation with one of the locals and told them the tale about the Reverend Father. He says, "Begorra," he said, "you have to learn the difference between Reverend Murphy is blessing a horse and when he is giving it last rites." To be honest, my Idiot of the Week nomination goes to 35-year-old Santos Roman, whose 5-year-old stepson went to kindergarten wearing Roman's jacket and proceeded to show his friends the packets of heroin that he found in the jacket pockets. Now, my co-idiot of the week...
Remember my name.
Yeah.
What's my name?
Now, my co-idiot
Yeah,
of the
remember
week
saying
is the news media, who inaccurately and sensationally reported that the child used the heroin in his show and tell presentation at school. I mean, I love how they jump all over the stories. Like, oh yeah, let's make. Oh, this is definitely must have been what happened. The real story is that the child found the packets in the jacket pocket and was waving them around when some savvy teachers noticed and grabbed them before the kids could make a score and little Timmy can make some lunch money. Well, the dad now faces a slew of charges, and the drugs were only valued at like $500. Well, there goes little Timmy's chance at a new Xbox One. Sorry, Timmy.
I'll give you a Titanfall. Smokes.
Yeah. And then he has this little friend going, "Yeah, bitch!
Yeah, well,
I got a need for speed.
Jimmy and Timmy. Anyway, this is a section we like to call Missing Links, in which we discuss website links that either don't work or technology that's in a weird or
about,
wacky
like,
place.
Sasquatch and all
No,
that cool
no,
stuff.
nothing like that.
Loch Ness Hey, we could Loch Ness.
My
Yeah.
missing link
Yeah.
story is about mobile phone Mad Libs. Now, I don't know if any of you on your phone, when you're trying to, create an email or text a message back to somebody, if it comes up with like a word that they think you may want to do, like dear, so and so, how, and then the next word would be are, and then they prompt you for the next word. You. Okay. Well, the other day,
mine keeps prompted. It's like, suck a dick. I'm like, no.
Well, my phone the other day, I'm replying to an email from someone who was on vacation with his family. So I type, thanks and enjoy your time with your. So I'm thinking, it's going to prompt me for family or something like that. Well, so what my phone suggests is thanks and enjoy your time with your phone. Thanks and enjoy your time with your taxes. And then, or thanks and enjoy your time with your dogs. And really what I wanted was family. So, thank you. I can't wait to enjoy my phone, my taxes, and my dog. Just makes me crazy.
Well, that's why I noticed too. Sometimes when I'm driving and I'm trying to return text, you can hit the microphone on your Windows phone, and you can actually speak into it, and it will automatically fill in the words. So like the other day, I forget what it was. It was like, "Hey, heading home now. We'll take the dogs out," something like that. Like, see you later. And then it came up like something like, Grendel bears love chicken, and then I'm just like, what the hell? It just came a completely different. And sometimes I'll just send them, and I'll just get
Grendel,
back the okay,
okay,
or
whatever you say.
Yeah,
I know those Grendel bears. They'll just eat chicken all day if you let them.
So yeah, sometimes
Damn,
just
Grendel Bears was good.
Well, that's funny. You talk about like translations and what have you. I think one of my favorite stories is my aunt in Tucson. She has, at the time, she had like 2 or 3 dogs,
Tucson doesn't exist.
but she had a housekeeper that would come in. and her housekeeper was Mexican. So, she was trying to speak Spanish to her and this
Right.
and that. So basically what she did is she said, she told the house cleaner when she came in, she goes, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to be gone overnight, but don't feed the dogs tonight. I'll feed them tomorrow when I get back." And, she left. And so anyway, she left that note for her. And when she came back, the woman was like so upset. And he goes, "What?" But basically what she told her, she goes, "Don't eat the dogs when you get here. I will eat them when I come back."
And the woman's just looking at these dogs like, Dios mío.
Oh, I can't wait to eat dog. It's gonna be good. Then we're gonna write you bad fortunes.
So anyway,
Stupid
boys
American.
and girls, here is one of the first stanzas we have made up to the Irish Washerwoman song. And it goes something like this. "We will stumble and fall coming back from the pub.
And when we get home, we will demand some grub.
But our wives will be elsewhere giving us a snub.
And that's
how
'cause we celebrated
St. Paddy's Day.
We will sit in our chairs till the room starts a-spinning.
And think that it's fun, though we're no longer grinning.
And realize that now the alcohol is winning.
'Cause we celebrated too much on St. Paddy's Day. 'Tis a shame that some friends have now gone to heaven.
And we start to miss them, round drink number 7.
But it's more whiskey for us, so I guess we're forgiven.
As long as we toast them on St. Paddy's Day.
We say top of the morning, and let's quaff a brew.
And eat plates of potato with our Irish stew.
And share stories and tales that are mostly untrue.
But still have a great time on St. Paddy's Day.
We dance jigs and we fight now well into the morning.
Wives hit us in the heads with pans without warning.
And we wake up like our heads a storm that is forming.
And that is a successful St. Paddy's Day.
We drink Guinness for breakfast and lunch and then dinner.
And wear only green because it makes us look thinner.
And finding a leprechaun makes you a winner.
But then everyone's a winner on St. Paddy's Day. Yay!
Well done, everyone. Now
Well done.
eat
well
a chicken.
done. So let's talk about what's on your
Yeah,
mind.
let's do it.
Kyle, you got something on your mind?
Yeah, I
Huh?
do. Yeah.
Huh?
Well, I always have
What are you
sharks.
thinking about?
I always have sharks on my mind.
Sharks on your mind.
I always do. Every single time. I don't know why. I dream about them, think about them. They're always on my mind. So when I saw this article about this guy, he has one of those Pro-Am waterproof cameras
Yeah.
and does a lot of surfing. So what he would do is he would set it and it would record every like 30 seconds or so. It would take a couple snaps. So while he was surfing, he could get some really cool shots of his surfing. And he just had it like tied to his leg. So there was a shot that he didn't see until later when he got back to shore. And there's a link on there, but when you click the link, you can actually see how close he came to a shark. Because it was dangling in the water when he was like with his feet in the water.
Yeah, I went to the side. I saw the guy.
That photo,
yeah,
the photo is
creepy.
pretty creepy. That like literally like feet away, there's a great white shark just like cruising by, and he hadn't even had no idea until he like got back to shore. So I thought it was pretty wicked. Like, and he even said like, yeah, I would have had no idea whatsoever that it was in the water, like checking him out. So
Yeah, luckily he wasn't moving his feet around. 'Cause
No,
if he
no.
was, the thing probably would have turned and maybe gone for him.
yeah, so
Either that or maybe it's stink footing.
yeah,
The shark couldn't
he
be
says
bothered.
it's interesting because he says like one, he was impressed by the clarity of the photo because he said the water was a little murky, and usually that's how they attack, is like they don't recognize you, and of course with murky water they're just going to come up and test anyways. They don't know that you're not its normal food source. But yeah, again, it's just a really wicked picture to see like, oh, that's so cool, like there you were surfing having a good old time and you had no clue like this thing was like down there. So that was my thing.
That's pretty interesting. How about you, Steve-O? Anything on your mind?
I'm trying to think what's going on. What's new in the world of Steve?
Is it about sharks?
No, I hate sharks. Sharks are dumb.
What?
Sharks don't do it. You know what? Sharks are dumb. You know why? Because they eat your leg and then they poop it out in the ocean. That's like disrespectful. They just don't care.
Well, I don't care about you.
I don't care
They
about
care
them.
about you.
Hey, you should just be grateful sharks can't fly.
I wish they could fly because I would ride a shark to work. I'd be Shark Man. Evildoers beware. Shark
Oh
Man!
no, who's that? Oh, look.
And then you know what my catchphrase is?
What?
Shark Man. Every week is Shark Week. Shark Man!
Yeah, you'd have a fleet of sharks.
Yeah.
Sharkman and his army of sharkers.
Shark
And
Man!
you could have like little Bobby, little Susie ride little baby sharks.
Shark Man!
Maybe they ride little nurse sharks.
You know, NBC, get on that. Instead of rebooting your stupid Heroes.
Yeah,
Did you see that
Reborn.
crap?
Come up with oh yeah,
I was all like, Heroes Reborn. I was all like, how about Heroes
From
Let's
all those
Try to
characters
Forget?
you forgot about.
Yeah,
I guess clearly you forgot about them.
Yeah, how about Sewer Man? Ooh,
Yeah, wasn't there a
ooh.
guy
Yeah,
named
there's,
Hat Man or something? I don't remember.
Oh, speaking of reboots,
Shark Man!
today's movie review is brought to you by your local public library, which is where I got them from. Watch that. I guess I have to wait for this to go first.
It's time for Senior Esteban's movie reviews. Maybe TV shows too. Who knows? But it's nothing like Shotman! Yeah!
Well, today's first show is Pacific Rim. Now, this is definitely not a thought-provoking movie. Basically what it is Rock'em Sock'em Robots meet Godzilla movie rejects. The special effects were all this movie had to offer. The Detective Luther from the BBC show series was in this. The kid from Sons of Anarchy was in this.
Oh, that's what that was?
Yeah, and the guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia was also in this.
Charlie Day.
And even Ron Perlman.
Who was also in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He was.
Well, he's usually always in Guillermo del Toro's.
Yeah, he made a cameo appearance, too.
Did you stay till the entire end of the movie?
Or did you click it off?
Like after the credits?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you missed the best part.
What was the best part?
I
thought the best part was when it was over.
Oh, no, Ron Perlman, he cuts himself out of the...
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like, that's awesome.
Oh, that's cool. Well, the story was a sad excuse for
Clearly.
special effects, but we watched it anyway.
But you know what? When you said that, the Rock'em Sock'em Robot, when the preview first happened, I was like, please tell me this is Rock'em Sock'em Robots. I would have loved this to be Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
That's what I first
Actually,
thought
I think that was the same
previous.
thing with that other movie, the boxing one.
Real Steel.
Real Steel. We all
yeah.
thought that was Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
And that
but
was actually a good movie.
Good, though.
That was a good movie.
But that's what I said with Pacific Rim. Like, the special effects are amazing, but if you're really going, like, I want to go for a really good storyline, I'm like, don't.
I mean, the whole thing where the minds meld and the... Oh,
Yeah, it's
come on.
like... Well, it's
Okay,
basically
and
anime.
And the whole
Yeah,
the whole
it's
thing
more
is
based
like,
on-
okay, if you're going to have the technology to build these things, why do you got to stick a human inside of it?
Well, not even that, but the whole story is like when we took down the first one, it wasted all this money from the government. But I'm like, but you just built like 5
More
fucking robots.
Well, that was the thing, though, is like when they were saying when they were trying to combat the creatures using just what we had, like tanks and stuff,
Mhm.
it took us like 10,000 lives, like almost 2 days, and everything we had to take down one. So that's why the world came together, and that's why we were pulling all our resources. That's like why they were called Jaegers, because it was kind of like based more on like the Germans had built them.
Right,
You know,
right.
based on German technology. Now I guess like the mind meld and stuff, but it's actually based more on like Steve and I know more from like Power Rangers, Ultraman, like Voltron, you know, Gundam, like all these things. This is kind of what that's built upon, that kind of
the
audience.
anime type
So for you
stuff,
guys
yeah.
to come in and be like, oh, you know, it is
Well,
like,
to be
yeah, it's a
fair,
little,
you know what? They did call them Jaegers because when they dropped them, it was a Jaeger
bomb!
bomb.
Jagermeister, yeah.
Jagdoliba. You know why they call them Jaegers? Get off the stage.
Is this thing on?
Is this, hello?
It's a comedy special.
Yeah, Agda Lieber. Hey, you want to see my Wiener Schnitzel? Yeah.
Yeah. For tickets to Hitler, dial 555.
Achtung. 555, Achtung.
Here's my impersonation of America. We're fat. Hello? Nothing? Oh.
Where'd you going?
I
We
can
just
all-
added a new character to the idiot section.
Yeah.
Comedy Hitler.
Yeah, Comedy Gold Hitler.
Oh, man.
Hey, quit Stalin on the stage.
Oh, man.
In Soviet Russia, Stalin stalls you.
Actually, it was
Stalin?
Stalin, yeah, it was
Hey.
Italian. Mussolini Stalin.
Hey.
Hey, what's the matter with you? You're going to Siberia.
what?
Your pizza no good. Go to Siberia. Anyway, the other movie I saw this week was Monsters University from Pixar. And it has the same cast as Monsters, Inc. It was entertaining, and the digital pictures were amazing. The colors, the movement, everything was top-notch. And it was a fairly decent prequel. The story is kind of cool.
Except for that
It's kinda
stupid
like
mind melding part. That was so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then when they
Sully.
jumped in those giant robots
Okay.
and they fought those animes.
Come on,
yeah.
Sully.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the problem was Mike Wazowski, he had to have a platform to sit on because he couldn't reach the
Yeah, you
pedals.
can reach the pedal. Now, what did you think of the part when they go into the real world? Like when they're going in, like Mike tries to, he's like, oh, I can do this on my own or whatnot. And he goes in, and it's like at the campgrounds or whatnot.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
that forest area, like I literally thought it was real. Like
Yeah, they
that's
did-
how like advanced
Oh, they
their
do a
like,
real good job with that
technology
stuff.
went. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
I saw it in theaters though. But yeah, really good cast of characters.
Yeah.
Storyline was kind of like it was pretty good because I also like the end. It's like they then worked them way up into like the
Right,
company.
right.
So
Yeah, how they started because you figured, well, they got kicked out of college, so they didn't get work for that company anyway. But they started there and went their way up. That was kind of cool.
that was
I
pretty
liked
interesting. But yeah, no, it was good. It was a good buddy film.
that. A bromance.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, man.
It was a budding bromance.
Animal
film.
House part monster.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, except they called it Human House.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Anyway, the other movie I saw was Red 2,
Electric Boogaloo.
which was a sequel to the movie Reds.
I wish that's what it was called.
Yeah.
Red 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo. We actually liked this better than the original Reds. We felt this had more of the comic book feel that DC intended. Didn't really care for the Mary Louise Parker character. Felt her character was kind of a detriment to the movie, although she was somewhat a central part. But Bruce Willis, John Malkovich, he was great, as was Helen Mirren. I mean, she always plays this really... I think one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the CIA and MI6 and all the Secret Service agents. They put a hit out on Bruce Willis, Frank Thomas's thing, because...
And he has to go back in time.
He was a part of... so he meets up with Gordon, Jason...
Yeah, Gordon
Jumpin' Jack Flash. And... But anyway, so basically they got a hit on him, and they pull in Helen Mirren. They say, "Oh, you got to kill him because of what he did. They supposedly planted a bomb in Russia, and he was one of the guys helping the people get it there, so that we could blow up Russia if we needed to."
Yeah, because I saw
at
and
one
seen the
point,
first one.
So her character, so it's great. So they're sitting in a Jeep and they're coming down the road, and Helen Mirren's there with this huge gun, and she's just pointing it at him, and Bruce Willis is going, How did she even know that we would be here?
Mm-hmm.
And John Malkovich is just kind of sitting there going like this, and he goes, "You told her, didn't you? You told her." He goes, "Well, I thought she could help." It's just the way his delivery. And what happens? So then the next scene, you see the Jeep on the side of the road with 3 bodies in it, burned to a crisp, and the Jeep is just all in flames. You think, "Oh my God, did they?" So they show her there, Helen Mirren, and then she turns to the girl, the Mary Louise Parker one, and she goes, "Okay, I can understand, the Jeep." She goes, "Where did you get the bodies?" So Helen Mirren goes, "Oh, I have them in my freezer." Just like everybody.
Yeah,
everybody. But that was, her delivery is just so great.
Yeah, that's what I heard about those movies. They're pretty entertaining.
Yeah, and it's just pure entertainment stuff. There's not a lot of
it's no real story. Like, it sounds like they were
There's
old
some stuff, yeah.
CIA. Like, they all had like operatives.
Well, I know,
older now.
it's probably like they got the idea from the DC comic, and then they just kind of made their own story, which I think is kind of good sometimes to do. Because you don't want the same exact story. Like, if you sat down and read the book and then go see the movie, I'm like, well, I already know what's gonna happen.
Right. That's kind of the thing with Wanted. Wanted was a comic, and a lot of people who were fans of the comic were like, "What the heck is this movie?" Mm-hmm. But there's actually a lot of people who some people really like the movie and also like the comic. Like, they're so different that it actually kind of works out okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes it's kind of like in addition to the comic.
I don't think so though, because I hated Wanted. The best part of that entire movie was what's his name?
End.
No, yes, the end with what's his name? Morgan Freeman. This is the first time I ever heard Morgan Freeman. He's all like, "And if you think I'm this person, you killed that motherfucker."
Yeah, he's like, because the whole time he's like very like.
Yeah, he's very elegant. He's like,
you either kill this motherfucker.
He's like, "If you think I'm full of bullshit, then you should kill this motherfucker." I was like, "Did he just say that?"
Like, oh my god,
Morgan Freeman's awesome.
Well, we finished up Nurse Jackie season 5 last night, and there were more hijinks from Tony Soprano's wife, as she is now dealing with being sober and drug-free for 12 months. Although it ain't easy, between her husband being a dick, as their divorce grows near, to her teenage daughter starting to act out and doing what bratty, snotty teenage girls do, and her dating comedian Adam Ferrara, who is playing a cop this season after playing Chief Needles Nelson on Rescue Me, and to her having sex with the father of her now dead sobriety partner. What fun she has. This is still a good show, and all the characters do a great job. Don't remember what her name is, but her character name is Zoe, and she's like one of her nurse trainees type stuff.
Oh, okay.
And she is just so great. She's like so positive all the time. She's like one of these, "Oh, you need a hug," and "Oh, talk to me. Let me know what's going on with you. Let me try to help." And she's just so over the top. It's tremendous. It really is pretty good. But it's all the reviews I have. You guys see anything worthwhile?
No, I'm still wanting to see the Lego movie. Nothing's coming out until I think April 4th for me is the Captain America Winter Soldier movie, and then May is like a huge blockbuster. That's the start. I guess we got the Spider-Man coming out, and also the X-Men Futures Past, and then
Godzilla.
Yes, Godzilla also.
Hey, Veronica Mars came out.
That's
on
true.
Friday.
A lot of people said
it already came out.
Good reviews.
Yeah.
That was kind of.
It's in select theaters because what they did is with Kickstarter.
Yeah, the Kickstarter.
If you were one of the Kickstarters, you got to see it first, and then now they're going to release it out to.
Which
the
is
rest.
funny because I can't see the movie because I never watched the show.
Yeah,
so.
you can actually watch it on demand too. I think they said they're releasing it that way.
Yeah, let me go look at my cable. Oh, I don't have one.
Oh, you poor baby. Anyway, it was funny. I was reading a little
Son of
story
a
about the
bitch.
Kickstarter campaign. What they did is they actually had certain levels, like this one man and his wife. I think he's like in his 40s or something. They loved the show when it was on TV. So what they did is they looked at the different levels, and by donating a certain amount of money, they have a walk-on part in a non-speaking walk-on
Yeah.
part. So they're like in the background just talking with
Going,
each other,
"Peas and
but you can
carrots,
see them.
peas and
And like
carrots,
other ones who
peas and
paid a
carrots."
lot
Yeah,
more.
some had input
Yeah,
into
they
the
had.
script.
So I thought that was kind of a cool way to do it.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
they have a lot of cool like things with Kickstarter. It's funny though because like there was the talk about Amazon. Amazon is now creating their own console for video games and everything. And they released like the controller, and it's just like a prototype, but already people are jumping like, oh, it looks like garbage. But I'm like, it's the first like. But then it was funny because it was all like, what do you guys think of everyone coming up with all these consoles? It's like everybody's coming up with a console. I'm like, look for our Kickstarter campaign where the arcade bros design their own console.
well, that was like whatchamacallit, when they first came out
It's
with
gonna
that
be just a hole
Kickstarter
in a box.
campaign.
Yeah,
Hours of fun.
hours of fun.
Like for the baseball bat, it came out with a
Yeah.
stick.
Yeah.
Well, it's only a prototype. So,
Yeah,
exactly.
Give
Yeah,
it
the
a chance.
tree.
Give us a.
We're in
give
the
us a
early
chance to work
stages.
it.
Yeah, we're in the early stages.
Yeah, it's
What are you guys
growing,
waiting for?
it's
Well,
yeah.
technically we're
It's
waiting
a
for
seedling.
Yeah, it's like in the ground. Like,
No,
oh,
it's actually
Yeah.
like when it
Here's
grows.
an acorn. We're gonna put it. In the
They
plant.
start taking pictures when it starts growing. They're like,
Yeah.
well, now the tree is fully formed. What are you waiting for? We're waiting for lightning to hit it. We wanted to have that lightning
Lightning,
appear,
yeah,
like in
really.
that one movie.
Yeah.
With that guy. What was that called? Lightning Tree, wasn't it?
But they were saying that some of these things now with Kickstarter, the way because Veronica Mars was so popular,
Mm-hmm.
they said what they may be able to do now is reboot a lot of those older shows that the networks don't want to fund, but maybe the fans will.
will,
do.
yeah.
And they said if they start doing that, they said they could conceivably start putting some of these, studios out of business
Oh, yeah.
because everybody's got. Of course, you're going to go see a movie that you funded,
Yeah, if there's
Oh, yeah.
5 million viewers and they all donate $1,
Right.
that's $5 million you can use towards starting.
And if they donate two, it's
10.
10 million.
Well, that's the thing. There's
Exactly.
also not only is there Kickstarter, but
money.
there's also Indiegogo
Well,
as
there is.
well
That's
as
what the
another
beauty of
Shark Tank
Kickstarter.
campaign.
Kickstarter does it where, like, let's say you're 50,000 what you need to get this thing done. So you do it and you get 50,000. Well, they take a percentage of the sales. Like they take like 3%. So it's like that's how they're making
Right,
revenue
right.
as well.
It's a great
So-
business model.
Oh, it's great too because, like you said, those tiers. There was a game company that actually was making a game, and what was cool is
Double Fine?
Well, yeah, Double
Yeah,
Fine was
Double
one
Fine
of them. But because of Double Fine's success, then offered like, well, for every $1 you get, we will give you $1 to help develop the games for like our console. And then what was really cool is some of the tiers was like if you donated, let's say like $2,500, you had creative input on like a level, so you could say like, oh, well, I thought the level could be like this or this, and like you actually had input to something that
That's
they
kinda
were
cool.
making.
Yeah, I mean,
Talk about a totally interactive product.
Yeah.
no, yeah.
That you're I mean, it's
Yeah, you
basically
invested
going back
and
to
you're
investing.
helping, yeah.
Well, that's like Josh. He did a Kickstarter for these things called. They're like these vision. They're bringing like virtual reality back.
Yeah, the Oculus.
The Oculus. Basically, they're these goggles that go on your thing, and it's basically he says it really works good for like first persons and stuff like that. But you could sit down in front of your computer, you have your thing, and then when you look, that's how you aim.
Yeah, you
So
kinda
now,
have to look
anytime
around.
you look, that's where your gun goes and stuff like that. He's when he comes on Arcade Bros, he's going to bring it over, going to test it out. But
so we
like,
can throw a ball.
But he did a start. But a
Alright.
lot of people are now like going towards like all these kind of new. But it's kind of funny because
Well, show him our baseball bat prototype. We'll see. Like,
I'm really touching it, man.
Oh,
It's
man.
right there.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
real.
It's real. You can touch
But yeah,
it.
no, there's all these things. But
Believe.
there's also the Indiegogo project that's going right now with Adam Carolla to stop the patent trolls. And I don't know if you heard about this, but it's actually going to affect the entire podcast community because apparently these guys came out and everything that we've been doing, we're not well known, so we're probably not going to get hit. But
Oh,
if
you'd be
these guys, but this is the thing, if these
Right.
guys get hit, then they're going to slowly start coming down the chain and hitting everybody with
And
this.
it's
They
basically something
wanna-
so stupid where like the guy had invented the idea of like podcasting, but he hadn't done anything.
he didn't do
with
anything
it.
with it.
He just like, well, I patented it.
But
and
then
because everyone
everybody
took off
else
with
started
it.
doing it and then making money off of it,
and
like
he's like,
they
"Where's
because
my
they're
cut?"
pop. Yeah, he's like, "Where's
Oh,
my
yeah,
cut?"
yeah.
But it's all like, but you haven't done anything with it. All these people got their sponsors, they have these followers,
Right,
so on
right.
and so forth, such as us with Amazon.com. Join us at Amazon.com. You can go to the Sasquatch.net, click on the Amazon banner, and shop like you normally do. We get a little taste if you do.
Shell away.
Well, you know what time it is? It's zombie time, bitches. Now, since our last show, Rick, Carl, Michonne have left suburbia for Terminus, as has Tyrese, the two little wacko kids, baby Judith, and the murderous Carol. Glenn has taken Point Man in the search for his beloved, followed by Tara, the military guy, mullet scientist, and Chicky Baby.
Mullet.
Maggie,
Away.
Drunk Bob, and Sasha have given up on finding Glenn and are also en route to the town or destination of Terminus. Now, to catch us up on what has happened since then, we bring you a little section we like to call Christopher Walken Dead. Mr. Walken? Your
Hello.
thoughts on past shows, please.
Hello, I'm great to be back here in the studio. Kyle, you're looking well. Have you been working out?
No!
No. Why not?
No.
You got Esteban over there. Him and I did some tequila shots last week.
No, we
Fantastic.
didn't.
Don't lie.
No!
Anyways,
No. We did cowbell.
in the prior week's show, we saw Daryl catching and eating a rattlesnake while Beth wants to be a bad girl and get her drink on. That was a weird episode. I really enjoyed the rattlesnake. It looked delicious. I wanted to get a bite in on that. But of course, also zombies wanted to get a bite in on them. Oh! By the way, rattlesnake tastes like chicken, in case you didn't know. Daryl and Beth go to a country club. Of course they weren't members.
Much better.
Where were you at? No.
Now I miss my place because someone keeps yelling at me for music, which now no one can hear, and it's the whole point of the show. But all right, whatever. You don't care anymore. It's
I
like
do
I'm
care.
I'm Mr.
Hey,
Producer
It's
over
my
here.
show. I do what I want.
Ow!
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 They go to a country club, even though they're not members of the club. They play through while zombies applaud their approach.
Very good. Nice shot. Not
Yeah,
approach.
the golfer's class.
Actually, it was more like. Hey, get out of here, Franken.
that's not your line,
Frankenstein
Tom.
monster. Once inside the clubhouse, Daryl and Beth go looking for items they can use, but Beth is looking for booze. Sounds like drunk Bob over here, and finds some peach schnapps, which is nasty. You ever had peach schnapps? You ever had any schnapps?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
God,
nasty.
No, the worst one is peppermint schnapps because you're like,
Ooh.
oh, look at me. I'm drinking. I'm having fun. It's Christmas. Next thing you know, it's New Year's Eve, and you're belching out all over the porch on some guy's Lamborghini.
Oh, man, you're
and
puking
Shia
out
LaBeouf's...
pooping York peppermint patties.
You got Shia LaBeouf with a bag over his head going, I'm not famous anymore. I'm like, get out of here. You weren't invited, not famous paper bag boy. Anyways, and Daryl doesn't approve of her drinking the schnapps. Daryl and Beth eventually end up in an old house drinking moonshine. Moonshine, it's good. It's great. It's fantastic. It's like a cowbell. And sharing life stories. In one scene, Beth tells Daryl that he will miss her when she is gone. Nice, but we don't really care, as we are sure one of them, probably Beth, is going to die anyways. Spoilers.
Just what you think may happen.
Pretty much, you know.
Thanks for
Yeah,
letting us
goodbye, Beth.
know.
Nice knowing you.
Yeah, nice knowing you. Goodbye, Toodles.
It's like,
Don't let
you
the
know-
zombies bite your ass on the way out the door.
Yeah, like when a character
Ow.
says, "Oh, I'll be here forever," next show they're gone.
Especially. After a heavy night of drinking, they set fire to their new home and make their way into the forest, looking for zombies they can make fun of and kill. That's what I used to do on a Sunday. I was like, I look at that guy. Bang. He's dead. Turns out it was drunk Bob. Ow! I wish. I hate that guy. Really wanted to die. Now, this week's episode, we had more of a variety show with additional characters. We get to learn a little bit more about drunk Bob. And that in a previous group, he always seems to be the last person alive. I don't know about you, but I would watch my back if drunk Bob was there. And while spending a romantic night in a car trunk with Daryl, we make any girl swoon. Drunk Bob made moves on Sasha before she ran away from him, so we could look for and try to hook up with Maggie. Really, man? This guy, is drunk Bob just trying to get on with everyone?
He is. It's 'cause
He's like a player hater, like Darth Vader. After Daryl and Beth's last home decorating expanded,
Escapade.
they found another lovely house to settle in. They should have checked with the realtor, though, because it was infested with zombies. Well, I would hope so. It'd be really weird to have a show called Walking Dead and there's no zombies around. It'd be like that video game with for the Wii where there was no zombies in it, even though it was called
Super
Dead
Mario
Rising.
Brothers.
Yeah,
Zombie Island.
Zombie Island.
Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
No zombies.
As they
Where
run
are the
away,
zombies? I don't know where they might be.
As they run away, Beth gets kidnapped and is driven away in a mysterious mobile, and Daryl is left to clean up the house and get dinner ready when she comes home. Oh, but she's not coming home, Daryl. You better just eat that meal on your own. Have your own rattlesnake party with your moonshine. At least you said goodbye to her, right?
Rattlesnake bye-bye.
He decides to wait for the next train. Oh, wait, never mind. I skipped something. When he realizes she might not be back for dinner, he tries to follow the car but can't find it. He decides to wait for the next train but meets up with the baddies who almost killed Rick. Carl and Michonne, They like Daryl, and since they are down 2 members, ask him to join their band of merry men. At the end of the episode, Glenn and his new buddies find the sign leading to the place. Terminus, or terminally ill, that's what they should call it. That place is sick, get it? Oh! Since they have nothing going on anyway, they decide to head for it. Hey, maybe we will have cookies. I like cookies. That's it for the recap. Thank you for listening to me. And maybe next time I should actually watch the one episode before I start reading about it. Because this is all news to me.
Well, thank you, Mr. Walken, for your recap. And thank you, Internet, for providing those recaps, because we haven't even seen that show either yet.
What?
Oh,
Spoilers.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Space.
hey, we got to catch up. We can't be like 12 weeks behind.
There's only 3 episodes left, too,
I know.
which is ridiculous.
Oh, well, it happens. But what I read was that the last episode will blow your mind.
The governor's back.
Yeah, wait, what?
The governor's back in, Herschel's back in.
Everybody's back in the riding sharks. We jumped the shark. Yeah. We jumped the shark so bad.
Oh, that'd be a great way to take the show. Think about it. Not only does the disease turn people into zombies,
The flying
but
sharks.
it makes sharks fly.
You lost me at Flying Shark.
Right, and then
You got me back with the gorilla season, but you lost
Yeah.
me at Flying
Yeah.
Yeah, when the gorillas became super smart and they were helping everybody out, but then the Cambodians came in and just wiped out their species.
It's like, this show will make you go bananas.
Is that their tagline?
Yeah.
Next season of The Walking Dead
Dead.
will be bananas.
Okay, and now for the final verses of our Irish Washerwoman song. Here we go.
I'm just going to have the last word.
What? And it's beer, whiskey, and beer, whiskey, and beer.
All right.
'Tis a shame that St. Paddy's comes but once a year.
And that is the only time for green beer.
But don't have any worries, nor have any fear.
'Cause
we will be
back
back
and
ready next St. Paddy's Day.
We may even start early, say maybe March 1st.
And until that day, we won't be quenching our thirst.
Who the hell am I kidding? That would be the worst.
We will
We'll
forever
forever
celebrate
St. Paddy's Day.
We'll wear kilts and play bagpipes to annoy the neighbors.
But at 2 in the morning, we're not doing them favors.
We'll keep playing them till the cops come like saviors.
But
But
still a
have
perfect ending to St. Paddy's Day. We'll be drinking and fighting just like yesterday.
And curse any bloke who looks at us the wrong way.
And if you ask why tomorrow is just like today,
Because
'Cause
every day to the Irish is St. Paddy's Day.
Day.
We now thank you for listening to our Irish song.
We've been playing and singing it all the show long.
some will say that the words to it are all wrong.
but
it should not matter on St. Paddy's Day.
We'll be drinking and fighting and puking and brawling.
And lying and boasting till our wife's still calling.
Then stagger back to the pub without falling.
And
continue
continue to
to
celebrate
celebrate
St. Paddy's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Special thanks to Jay Bucky for his arrangement of the Irish Washerwoman that we used as our backup for our lyrics. Well, lads and lassies, we have come to the end of our second St. Patrick's Day celebration show. We urge each and every one of you to celebrate your Irish and even your non-Irish origins, but please do so responsibly. Always remember to have a designated driver when you go out drinking, and a leprechaun does not count. If you live in Arizona and you forgot to set your clocks ahead an hour last Sunday, good for you, because we don't have to. We live in a state where time stands still. If you live in other parts of the country and are wondering why you've been an hour late for everything this week, this could be why. As we do each and every show, please purchase your Amazon.com goods by going through the Socially Awkward Studios website and clicking on the link to Amazon.com. Whoever runs this dump of a network has convinced Amazon that we are some kind of high-class, powerful podcasting juggernaut worthy of the support of the likes of Amazon.com and other feeble-minded sponsors. Purchasing goods through our network provides us with a portion of everything you buy from them through our site. It adds nothing to the cost of the product to you, but, from what I am told, provides income to the network. Personally, I have never seen a dime, and I'm beginning to think this is a scam. Either way, thank you for your support. If you would like to send us a tweet, look for the @TheIdiot section and tweet away. Also like us on Facebook, because if you don't, someone will come to your house and punch you until you do. Someday, www.theidiotssection.com will no longer be under construction, so you will be able to see some of the videos and JPEGs that we refer to on the show. We will also use the site to post links to other shows which are now just taking up space on a USB drive in my sock drawer. Thank you for listening, and talk at you in 2 weeks.
This has been another fine production of the 4i Radio Network. For more great shows, check out www.4iradio.com. Beer!
This has been another great presentation by the 4i Radio Network. You can find more information at 4iRadio.com.